And welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry. Beside me is Dave. Down below is Nick. And we are ready to break down some baseball. So we've had a few days off. The show has been gone for a couple days. But that's it. The show will be on from now until, maybe Christmas Day. But actually, isn't there games on Christmas Day? Yeah, there's pretty much the show
NBA.
until next MLB break. The show will go on. We have a lot of content coming here up in the next couple months. But we will jump right into the first game that I chose today. It's not going to be surprising, but we have a really good matchup here. The Blue Jays are headed to Boston to face the Red Sox in both teams' first game since the All-Star break. We have Toronto anywhere from minus 119 to minus 135. You can find Boston anywhere from plus 100 to plus 112. The total mostly nines. See 1-8, a couple 8.5s, 1 9.5, depending on what side you like. I took Toronto first 5 money line in this game, and I also took Gausman over 6.5 strikeouts. Gausman, for whatever reason, has really enjoyed playing Boston this year. In his 3 games against Boston, he's allowed 1 total run in the 3 games total. 1 game, obviously the 1 run, and the other 2 games he did not allow a run. The first game in Boston, 8 strikeouts, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 8 innings. The next game, a no decision at home against Boston, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 9 strikeouts. And then in the last game against Boston, once again in Toronto, a win where he had 10 strikeouts in 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs. He has pitched very well against Boston, and he's been getting strikeouts for the most part. He's good for 8 or 9 strikeouts. So 6.5 at plus 128. I had to jump on it. You can also find 5.5s available. The price isn't very good. So I jumped to the 6.5 at plus money. I really like it. And then I like the Jays first 5. The Jays did not head into the All-Star break playing very well. They faced a Kansas City team. They smashed them the 1 game 6-0, which is good. But the other 2 games were way too close for comfort victories. But I think the All-Star break is exactly what they needed. Boston kind of heading in here on a losing streak. And I think Toronto is able to keep that going. So I like the Jays first 5 money line, which I got at minus 125, and Gausman over 6.5 strikeouts, plus 128. And I would not talk anybody off Gausman over 7.5 strikeouts. But I'm not going to get too crazy here. I'll just stick with the 2 plays. Dave, Blue Jays, Red Sox. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, when you look at these are 2 teams that confuse me, really, because when you look at the Blue Jays in particular, you look at their lineup and you say this is a playoff team, or when you look at their roster, although they haven't been playing like a playoff team, and what should be one of the most lethal teams at the plate has been sort of dull the past month. The Red Sox, in true Red Sox form, are all over the place. They go on a streak here, they go on a streak there. And Eovaldi, he was one of my favorite pitchers to fade. The first part of the season, he had a major problem with the home runs. Lest we forget, there's a game he gave up 5 home runs. Gausman's also a question mark too. He pitches so well, and then the Royals come to town and he gives up 5 earned runs or 6 earned runs. I forget what it was, but
there's only 2.
Was it?
He pitched pretty well.
7 hits though. 7 hits, 2 and 2 walks.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different Blue Jays pitcher. That series was embarrassing for the Blue Jays anyways. But either way, I don't have a side on this game. I kind of don't know where it's going. You think this is a Blue Jay spot? This is the time. These teams where they're put in the AL East, they're behind the Rays and the Yankees, and if they're not far behind, that second slot. But this you think should be an important game, but I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, I'm really bullish on the unders today. This is one of the only games I'm bullish on the over because it seems like the only thing I can count on from the American League East are a ton of runs. I mean, just look at, the Blue Jays can do it. Look at the Yankees-Red Sox series before the All-Star break. So I don't know where the pitching match is going. I don't know where the game is going. But if I had to put a bet on this, it'd be in the over. It's 9 runs right now.
All right. Nick, Blue Jays and Red Sox. What do you think here?
Yeah, this is one that I end up getting to a little bit later in the day, and I end up siding here with the Toronto Blue Jays in this one. The first 5 innings minus the half a run. I took the plus 105 for that rather than laying the minus 130 for the first 5 money line. And the way I'm looking at it is there's some teams that I think are going to negatively be impacted by the All-Star break. Teams like Baltimore and Seattle, I think, are two teams that can have a negative effect towards the All-Star break. Teams that were coming in really good. The Yankees were another team. They came into the All-Star break really good. They just lost their first 2 games against Houston. And then there's other teams like the Blue Jays. I'm hoping is one of them is a team that was awful heading into the All-Star break. They limped in. That was probably one of the most embarrassing series to win 3 out of 4 games. Like it felt like that Yankees series against the Astros where one team absolutely dominated the series, or one team was the kind of the better team in the series, and then they split. There is multiple games where the Royals could have won, and that could have easily been 2-2 or 3-1 Royals in that series. I'm hoping the All-Star break does the Blue Jays good. I'm going to back them here today. First 5 minus the half at plus 105. The Blue Jays are the better team, I believe, and they have the pitching advantage. We saw Eovaldi really struggle in his first start. Granted, it was against the Yankees, but I don't think this lineup is much different here. I think this is a spot where this, as crazy as it sounds, this could be a buy low spot on the Blue Jays in this game. So I'm going to take the Blue Jays in the first half, or the first 5 minus the half run at plus 105.
All right. We'll move on to this next game. This is also a really good one. We have the Angels heading towards to Atlanta to face the Braves. One thing when as soon as I looked at this game, I noticed Ohtani has been on a roll as of late. In his last 6 games, 4 of the 6 he did not allow an earned run, and the other 2 games he allowed 1 earned run. He has been absolutely amazing his last 6 games. And if you look at his last 4 games, he has double-digit strikeouts in all 4. So he has at least 10 strikeouts in all 4 games. The Atlanta Braves, one of the highest strikeout teams in the league. So I took Ohtani over 8.5 strikeouts. So he needs to get 9 at plus 122. It just seems too easy. So I'm hoping it's just not too good to be true. But because it is the first game after the All-Star break, crazy things could possibly happen. But just the fact that Atlanta strikes out the second most in the league, and the fact that Ohtani has just been absolutely amazing, and he's striking people out left, right, and center. I had to take the over 8.5 at plus money in this one. No opinion on the side. I really think that the way Ohtani's pitching, the Angels' first 5 could be a good look here. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Braves pull out the win at the end, depending on how Morton pitches. So this could be a good spot to possibly look at Angels' first 5, Atlanta full game. I know you can do those bets depending on what the price would be. I'm not sure what it is, but this could be a potential game to look at that. But I like Ohtani strikeouts over 8.5 at plus 122. Dave, Angels, Braves, what do you think of this one?
So I looked at a lot of strikeout props for a lot of games. These are 2 teams that strike out a lot. The problem is I think the books realize that the All-Star break is going to affect hitting way more than pitching. Pitchers are pitching simulated games, and hitters are batting in a in a cage, essentially. So I think, like I said, I'm really bullish on unders. I'm bullish on batters being a little rusty coming off of the break or just not having their rhythm down. So I think the books know that, because I think that this strikeout prop a week or two later would be one strikeout less for both pitchers. It's plus money at 9 for both pitchers. So I think it's one strikeout too far down the road, because if you take it at 8, it's a little juiced too much. So that was my first angle. I didn't like that a bunch. Shohei Ohtani has been amazing. The problem is the Angels are the worst hitting team in baseball the past month. 183 at the plate, 532 OPS, and their WRC plus is 55. That's abysmal. So I think the way to take this is the first 5 under. It's at 3.5. These are two good pitchers. The Angels have a very, very good chance in this to take one on the road right off the All-Star break. Either full game or first 5 aren't horrible bets. I just think the under is a little bit better, because this could be 0-0 after 5 innings.
Yeah, as long as Morton was playing really good previous to his last game against Texas. I think it was Texas. But previous to that, he was playing really good. So we'll see if we can get back to that form.
Yeah, Charlie Morton could go to a lot of other teams and be the ace on the staff. He's a good pitcher. There's a couple slip-ups, and I'm really high on Charlie Morton. Obviously Ohtani's a better pitcher, but like I said, I think the way to go is the under here, and I don't hate the Angels play either.
For sure. Nick, Angels and Braves. I think this is your best bet at Picks and Parlays, right?
Yeah, on the side in this game. And there is one thing I did want to touch on this game, is that trying to find it here. You mentioned the Ohtani strikeout prop, and I would say you can say Ohtani or Morton strikeout props, and I would agree with both of them. These are the top 2 teams in strikeouts this year. Yep. The Angels have struck out 900 times, and the Braves have struck out 877 times. And when we're looking at one of those teams where I think the All-Star break may have negatively affected them, it was the red-hot Atlanta Braves heading into the All-Star break. Well, if you look at what they did in the first half, they had – let me find it here. They had the 28th toughest schedule in baseball, a.k.a. the 3rd easiest schedule in baseball. Only the Brewers and the Dodgers had an easier schedule there in the first half. With the remaining of the season, they have the 14th toughest schedule. So I do think we're going to see some negative regression here from the Braves, just strictly on the teams that they're playing here in the second half. And I wouldn't talk anybody off of either strikeout props in this one, but we do have a play on the side in this one. And I would say the only thing I would give out here would be either strikeout prop. I wouldn't hate.
Yeah, depending on maybe a same game parlay with both strikeout props, if you can get the alternate ones. But Vladdy is overrated. Good luck, everyone. Let's make some money. Welcome back. Vladdy is overrated. It's actually nice to see you, because the last time you appeared on the show, Vladdy hit a home run. So
hey, hopefully he does that tonight.
Yeah, I hope Vladdy's watching, and he makes
Vladimir Guerrero Jr., friend of the program.
Yeah, maybe Vladdy to hit a home run, maybe a good luck for tonight. But we'll move on to this next one here. The Houston Astros are in Seattle facing the Mariners. What can be said about Houston? They swept the Yankees yesterday, and they are getting close to the Yankees in the standings, which is kind of surprising a little bit. Let me get the correct odds up here for that. Pitching wise, we have Urquidy against Gonzalez. Urquidy has lost all 3 starts against Seattle this year. Gonzalez is 1-2 in the games this year. I'll bring up the odds here. You can find Houston anywhere from -120 to -133. Seattle +100 to +108. The total 8.5 all across the board. Kind of the same similar price across the board. I'm on Seattle team total over 3.5, and I'm on Seattle money line. So I got the Seattle team total over 3.5 at -120, and I got Seattle money line at +108. I like the Mariners as an underdog spot here. I think Houston may be coming in here really happy with themselves yesterday, beating the Yankees both games. And I think Seattle, yes, they're on a 14-game winning streak. Yes, that's going to end. And you could possibly see it ending after the All-Star break. It would make some sense. But I just like how the Seattle team is playing. And I like fading Urquidy when I can. He is 8-4 in the year, so not really a huge profitable pitcher to fade. But I will get his stats against Seattle this year. So in his first game, he went 4 innings, gave up 8 hits and 6 earned runs. That was in Seattle. In his second game, also in Seattle, he went 4 innings, gave up 12 hits and 5 earned runs. And then in his third game against Seattle in Houston, 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. So he's been giving up earned runs like crazy to Seattle. So Seattle team total over 3.5, Seattle money line. This is my dog that I like today. So early spoiler, my dog of the day. I like Seattle in this spot. Dave, Astros, Mariners. What do you think here?
Yep, you were getting into it. I'm the opposite of on the opposite side of what Nick said with the Mariners. I think this is the team. This is one of the dark horses. It's not even dark horse. They're in the wild card situation right now, and this team has a bunch of swag. I mean, if you watch the All-Star game or the Home Run Derby, Julio Rodriguez, he's legit, and that's what this kind of team needs. They need a spark plug. They need a Manny Machado. They need someone like that to come in. And the cool thing about this guy is he's a likable type of confident. He's not a cocky butthead like a lot of other players. So I think he kind of has changed and given a little bit of spark to the team. But on the other side, you don't even need all of that, because on the other side in this game, Urquidy has been tore up by Seattle. I mean, it's not even close. By far the worst team he's faced, or he's been the worst against this team versus any other team. 10.38 ERA, 0-3. He's pitched 13 innings. He's given up 27 hits, 15 earned runs, and his opponent's batting average is .415. He's absolutely awful. I haven't been high on him anyways, especially on the road. He's a way worse pitcher. And I know that the Astros team is probably better on paper, but also with them traveling, which is only halfway across the country, I think this is a big, not even a heavy lean. I'm taking the Mariners. I think this is a Mariners spot. I also like the under too in this game. Like I said, I'm bullish on the under, but I think the Astros coming off that high from the Yankees are going to get knocked down a peg or two.
I totally agree with everything you said. Nick, Astros, Mariners, what do you think here?
Yeah, the only thing I can really look at in this game is the over. Both these pitchers have been hit or I'm expecting to have some negative regression. You look at the advanced stats of Markin Gonzalez. He should get hit a little bit as well. And Urquidy is not the greatest either. And I wanted to back the Astros in this game. I truly did. But the doubleheader and the travel is ultimately what kept me off of the Astros in this game. I do lean towards Houston in this one. And we saw yesterday Houston, they won back-to-back, or they won both games of the doubleheader, but it felt like really the Yankees punted that doubleheader. I mean, they had an opportunity to start Garrett Cole and Luis Severino or something like that, and then you got Jordan Montgomery and Domingo Germán. How much were the Yankees really trying in that series? And we saw the Yankees. They were one of those teams that were coming into the break really, really good and stumbled out of the gate after the All-Star break. I can see that a little bit with the Seattle Mariners here in this one here. And like I mentioned earlier with the Toronto Blue Jays, where that could be a buy low spot on Toronto, this could be a sell high spot for Seattle, because I do see a little bit of regression here coming from them, contrary to a lot of people's thoughts, seeing them win 14 games in a row heading into this break. So for me, it's Houston or nothing, and it's over or nothing. I did not get to either side, though.
All right. You don't have to bet every game. That's the best thing about baseball. There's usually 15 games a day. So
yeah, this is one of the trickier slates of the year, the day after the All-Star break.
Exactly. In this final game here, we have the Giants and the Dodgers, a game that I haven't got to anything officially yet, but we have Logan Webb against Tyler Anderson. Two really good pitchers. I'll bring up the odds here, and I'm actually going to just jump right to what I'm thinking here, and that's the first 5 under 4.5. Okay, minus 118, or you can get plus money for the under 4. I want to take under here, but if you look at the game yesterday, that was kind of probably an under spot too, but it did not stay under. The Dodgers scored 5 in the first 3 innings there. So looking at this one here, we do have 2 really good pitchers in Tyler Anderson and Logan Webb. So I'm looking to try to get something in this game, but I haven't quite got to anything yet. But it would be a lean right now to the first 5 under 4.5. So we'll see if I can add anything in this one. Dave, Giants and Dodgers, what do you think in this game?
So both very good pitchers. I would admit that. There's one thing that jumped out at me, and when these teams play, I tend to never pick a side. I mean, mostly because the odds are so bad, especially if the Dodgers are playing at home. If you happen to, I wouldn't say guess right, but be on the Giants at any point, usually you catch lightning in a bottle and you get a plus money game. But the Giants have been the number 1 team against left-handed pitchers at the plate the past month. 282, 906 OPS, and 154 WRC plus. They're just smashing left-handed pitching. Tyler Anderson could easily give up 2 or 3. And by the way, these 2 bullpens have not been great the past. The Dodgers bullpen is usually great. They're kind of middle of the pack right now. So what I like is the Giants team total 3.5 over at minus 118. I don't know who wins the game. I'm not so high on the under for this game too, for the full game, mostly because of the bullpens. I hope that you get there if that's the bet you have in the first 5, but I think the Giants score at least 4 runs.
Awesome. Adam says Logan Webb over 17.5 outs, 5th in MLB in innings pitched, 7 outs the last 7. So 7 of the last 7.
He's hit that over 17.5 in his last 7 games.
Oh, okay. Hey, sounds good to me. Nick, Giants and Dodgers. What do you think here?
Yeah, this game was frustrating yesterday, this game, because I was staring the whole day watching that line drop and drop and drop, and I'm be like, I'm going to bet the Dodgers. I'm going to bet the Dodgers. I'm going to bet the Dodgers. I never bet the Dodgers because I saw I think I maybe saw one other person, 2 other people on the Dodgers yesterday. Everybody was on the Giants, and that was I wish I bet that, but for this game, I would lean towards the Giants in this one. I like Logan Webb. I think he's the better overall pitcher in this game. I did not personally get to this one, but I believe you can get a nice little plus ticket on that first 5 money line here with the Giants. I don't trust it full game because I think that you can see what we saw last night with the Dodgers where they rally late a lot. You can get plus 105 in the first 5 innings, isolate it there. Tyler Anderson, yes, he was the all-star pitcher out of these 2. He's 10-1, but I think Logan Webb, talent-wise, is the better overall pitcher, and we just see Anderson get more run support. That's why he has the better record. So for me, this is a lean towards the Giants on the road as a plus money dog in the first 5 innings, but I did not get to this one either.
All right. Well, Dave talked me off the first 5 under, and I'm kind of leaning here with the Giants too. I just don't like to bet against the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's a tough thing.
The last game I'll show you, and also versus the Cardinals and the Yankees on those 2 comeback wins. I forget who it was before the All-Star break. Hate on the teams that have all of the money, but these are the best teams in baseball, and those are the reasons why. When they have players that they need 5 runs or 4 runs, and they get a couple hits, or a guy jacks a grand slam, or whatever the case may be, that's why these teams go out and spend the money. They are the best teams in baseball. Hate them all you want. I just can never bet them because the odds are too stupid.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, yesterday the public was against the Dodgers, which is surprising usually. Usually the other way.
Toby says WNBA bets incoming. Sorry, not sorry. Hey, picks are picks. You got like the Sun -3.5. You like the Sky
We're on the
-7.5.
Lynx, and we are on the Sky today.
Yeah, that's actually involved in someone's best bet that we'll get to later. But Sun and over 161.5. Question: why is the public betting the Pittsburgh Pirates? Probably because Miami hasn't scored a run in 3 games. Yeah. They haven't scored a run in 3 games. I wanted to bet Pittsburgh, but I can't.
I want to bet the under in that game more than anything else because I don't think Braxton Garrett's given up more than 2 runs in an appearance so far this season.
Is it at 6 or 6.5 right now?
Yeah, that's why I'm not betting the under. It's super low.
Yeah, it's let me see. I think oh no, wait a minute. I'm seeing it says 8.5. 8. I'm thinking of a different game. How could that be so high?
What?
That's what
it is 8.5. I didn't see that line this morning because it wasn't available by the time I did my show this morning.
I saw that different. I mean that to me that's a slam dunk under.
That's very bettable.
Yeah.
Under 4.5 versus 5 at -120.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm interested in that one.
Yeah, I just feel like Miami is going to eventually score a run, right? Like, eventually they're going to score,
right?
So that's why I'm nervous to kind of jump on that right at the end.
I can't touch an over in a game involving the Marlins. Not a chance in the world.
Braxton Garrett over 4.5 Ks. No Brian Reynolds, and just struck out 11 of the same lineup.
Yeah.
Interesting. Next up, BetStamp. Use code WILD. I heard from the people at BetStamp, and people have been signing up. So thank you to everybody that has signed up and has used code WILD. I really appreciate it. Find the best odds for whatever you're betting. For whatever you like, find the best odds. That's the best way to make the most money is to get the best price. Then you can follow me there at Let's Go Wild Picks as well and get late additions or live bets or whatever. So yeah, follow me there. We'll go on to last pitch. I went over everything I have except for a parlay. I took the New York Mets on the money line, parlayed with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in CFL for plus 101. Yes, the Blue Bombers in CFL are minus 313 favorites. So while I do not really enjoy adding that to my parlay, I don't see Winnipeg losing this game whatsoever. And we'll get to the CFL game here shortly, quickly. But I like the Mets with Scherzer on the mound, and I don't see a way that Winnipeg could possibly lose this game. And now that saying that, Edmonton will probably win, but we'll get to the CFL game shortly. The rest of baseball, nothing in Cardinals, Reds, Wainwright, Ashcraft. Didn't get to anything. Cubs, Phillies, again, a pass for me. We talked a little bit about this Miami game, and maybe I may add something here after the show. Yankees and Orioles. I want to bet the Yankees. I do, but ultimately not going to force bets. And Baltimore was playing really well, kind of slowed down there at the end of the All-Star, before the All-Star break. Yankees not really playing the best, but they faced Houston. So those are 2 games against Houston. Baltimore's a different animal. So did not get anything to there. As I said, Mets money line in my parlay, Darvish against Scherzer. I kind of expected it closer when I saw that it was Scherzer on the mound. I kind of expected maybe closer odds because usually the books love Darvish. But apparently they love Scherzer more. So the odds weren't really good. That's why I had to put Mets in a parlay. Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Nothing in this game for me. But watching Kansas City in the games against Toronto, I could possibly see an underdog spot here for the Royals, but I'm not getting to it. Cleveland White Sox or Guardians and White Sox. That another pass for me. Same with Rockies Brewers. Nationals and Diamondbacks. Corbin against Gallen. I want to take Arizona, but I don't like really betting those teams. And then back to Rockies Brewers, I guess quickly. Corbin Burns on the mound against Sensatella. But Brewers did not head into the All-Star break very well. Rockies on the other side, 7-3 in their last 10, heading into the All-Star break, and actually were playing pretty well. So I could see a possible upset, but obviously with Burns on the mound, Milwaukee should be in good shape. Texas, Oakland, no way I'm backing that. But the over was a good play in the last series. So possibly you could look at the over. And then that is it for baseball. Nick, what do you think here? Or sorry, Dave, what do you think here? Last pitch.
So I'm bullish on unders today, and it seems the books are the opposite way. It seems like the money is too, because of weather. I guess it's particularly warm in different parts of the country. But did everyone forget we just came off of a break? These guys, if they've been practicing as much as they should be, have been hitting out of a cage. And the pitchers have been pitching simulated games, which is much more accurate to what they're going to be saying. So I'm bullish on unders. I like the Cards Reds under. It's at 10 runs. I know it's in Cincinnati, and it's going to be warm, and that's usually a place where a lot of runs are scored. But did we forget? I know the Cards scored a bunch of runs right before the break at home. On the road, they couldn't score runs the first half of the season. So I think 10's way too much. Yankees Orioles at 9. I like the under in that too. I think there's a little bit of slowdown. We saw the Yanks, slow at the plate relatively to where they had been against the Astros. And I think the Orioles probably come down. I like their little run, but they don't really have much to play for. What are they going to do? Where are they going to go besides pride? So, but the game I do like is the one that you said you wouldn't touch, the Rangers and the A's. That's my favorite game of the day. And for a bunch of reasons. One is there is no further stretch to travel besides Miami to Oakland than Miami to Seattle. So it's a very long way. They just got off of a break. The Rangers went to Florida, and then they boarded a plane, and they have to come all the way to the West Coast. That added with the All-Star break in general. I know they just scored 8 runs yesterday against Miami. I think their bats are going to be off. But if that wasn't the case, you've got Spencer Howard pitching on the road, who's pitched only 9 innings this year, but he's given up 12 runs. And he's pitching against Cole Irvin, who, unlike most of the A's pitchers, does better at home and does significantly better at home. He's got a sub-2 ERA at home. That and the A's bullpen, which has been sneakily good the past month. They're actually, I think, they're 12th on my rated list. I'd have to pull it up again, but they're definitely in the top third in all statistical categories for this past 30 days. So I think this is an A spot. I also think, I'm curious, it's almost even money in a lot of books. If you look at these two teams and how they've played the past 30 days, you'd think the Rangers would be a sizable favorite. I have to go back and look at the odds. I'll pull it up right now. But I'm on the A's, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, the Ranger, the most their favorite is -120. I guess that's about right. Thought I saw them favored a little bit less before. But I have them at +100. I have the A's as a dog. And they're negative money now, but I still like them.
All right. That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. All right. Nick, last pitch. What do you think here?
Yeah, let me grab the games real quick and run down those. Kicking it off with the early 6:40 game. I like the over in that one with St. Louis and Cincinnati. I see a lot of good hitting weather tonight, especially in this one here in Cincinnati. It's hot, winds blowing out, all that fun jazz. So I like it over 10 in this one. In that one, I think I've seen it get up to 10.5 on some books. I got 10 at -115. I am on the Orioles in the first 5 innings at +110 against the Yankees. This is just a bad scheduling spot for the Yankees. And yes, I do expect regression here from the Orioles. They're not going to be this good, and I think they're one of the teams that Vegas has like the least faith in, because I think they have, if you look at their season win total, if you want to bet that live, they have them projected to go like 30 and 40 to end the year. They're still expecting them to be a team 10 games below 500. But I do like them here in this spot. First 5 +110. This one's going to be a little bit contrarian here. I'm on the Cubbies in the first 5 against the against the Philadelphia Phillies today. It's Kyle Gibson on the mound, which I think he can get touched a little bit, and Justin Steele has not been bad for the Chicago Cubs, so I sided with the Cubbies there in the first 5 innings at minus 105. They're one of those teams where I can expect them to play a little bit better up until the trade deadline. Here's another thing to keep in mind: teams that have players that are most likely going to get traded, they want to improve their trade stock, so you might be see a bit of a little rise in their performance. We saw that a little bit with the NHL last season, about a week before the All-Star break. We saw all the trade deadline. We saw all the bad teams start to win games because players want out and they want to be traded and they want their trade stock to go up so they can get out of that city. I can see that with the Cubbies here. There's a few players with like Contreras and Happ and all that. So I can definitely see that with there. So I'm on the Cubbies first 5. Yay, 350 subscribers. Congrats, Terry. And then I was, I think, 80 cents away from having to bet the Rockies today. I'll bet in my book, the Brewers hit as high as minus 280. So I almost had to bet the Rockies today. But there's no minus 300, so I don't have to worry about that. And I lean Nationals first 5 with Corbin against the Diamondbacks tonight. Lean. Did not bet it. That's another one of those teams where you can see a peak in their performance. Look for Soto to step up. Look for Bell to step up. Maybe look for some of those pitchers to step up as well, looking to try to get themselves out of the nation's capital. Because I heard there's some trade rumors with Bell as well. So look for those guys to look to try to raise their trade stock. So any players that are on the trade block, maybe look for player props with them as well. Maybe look at RBI props with Soto and Bell and Contreras in the Chicago game. And if there's pitchers that are looking to get traded, you're probably going to see this later in the week. Luis Castillo with the Cincinnati Reds. Look for strikeout props. Look for them to show out here the last couple of games they can potentially be on these teams and try to show off for potential teams that want to trade for them. So that's a little tidbit here for this time of the year. Maybe to look towards player props as well. I rarely bet player props. I might look at those the next week or two. But yeah, that's about all I've got for this slate.
Yeah, Corbin is trying to get out of our nation's capital. He's going to land right on the couch and out of the league. That guy's.
I wouldn't be surprised if they trade Juan Soto, if Patrick Corbin's contract is part of that.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine. I just think he's garbage. The only reason I find a way to bet him, I'm fading the Diamondbacks. But and Soto needs to.
I think Corbin may be decent in the bullpen. I think that's something they need to look at is maybe putting him in the bullpen.
He needs to be a situational guy where they need a left-handed pitcher that comes in for 3 outs. That's the only way he's a pitcher. They leave that guy in. The Nationals do this with all their pitching, but they leave their pitchers in way too long. And look at his stat line. I don't even know how he's still a starting pitcher, but anyway.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if Juan Soto went to the Mets and Patrick Corbin's part. Hear me out. Patrick Corbin's part of that. I would put him in the bullpen for the Mets. I think he's a good one, especially if you're getting rid of someone like David Peterson. I think he'd fit in right there.
A lot of wasted money, but yeah.
Steve Cohen doesn't care.
Justin says, just noticed you got my Earl Bro on here. Got to listen now. Yeah, Nick has been here since the beginning. He was one of the.
I'm one of the OGs. I'm
one of the reasons why
convinced him to go on YouTube.
Exactly. And then Tim, thanks for announcing this. So we just hit our 6 month. It was 6 months yesterday. So 350 subs. Super happy with that. And I think by the time end of the year, I think we should definitely double that by the end of the year, especially with football, hockey coming back. But we will jump in here quickly to the CFL game before we get to best bets. Me and Nick will go over this. Right now, you can find Winnipeg anywhere from minus 313 all the way to minus 417. So huge difference. Obviously, with CFL, that's usually the case. Edmonton, you can get them anywhere from plus 240 to plus 290. The spread, Winnipeg minus 7.5 at most books, mostly 47.5, some 48s, some 48.5. So definitely do your line shopping. As I said earlier, I have the Mets parlayed with Winnipeg, both on the money line for plus 101. The first reason being I like backing the Mets on the money line, not really so much on the run line. But again, I don't really like a lot of run lines with most teams. I like the money line. So I like to parlay them with something. Yes, it's minus 313. So I'm not going to recommend saying that you should go and bet that. But I did because I don't see Winnipeg losing this game. But I could see them winning by like 4 or 5. Kind of with like yesterday's game with BC. When I woke up this morning, I was kind of surprised to see they only won by 5 points. But teams can keep it close. And I could see Edmonton covering the spread in this game. But I could also see them getting smashed by 20, 30 points. So I like Winnipeg to win this game. I know it's minus 313. So do with that what you wish. But I see the Blue Bombers winning this game. I don't think they lose a game all season. I think the game against BC was the game for them to lose, and they didn't. So I don't think they lose a game all season long. Nick, Blue Bombers Elks, what do you think here?
I think this is a dangerous game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and not because of the team they're playing, but the scheduling spot for the Blue Bombers here. Because when you look at what they're coming into, 2 weeks ago they beat the BC Lions. They destroyed the BC Lions. Last week they edged out a win against Calgary, two teams that at that time they were playing for first place in the Western Division or the Western Conference. And now you get Edmonton, which is a huge step down in competition. But next week they get Calgary again, which is going to be another one of those matchups where they're playing for first place in the division. So I can easily see this as a game where Winnipeg just takes their foot off the pedal, where they kind of overlook Edmonton and they look forward to playing Calgary again next week. I think this is just a terrible scheduling spot here. And this has backdoor cover written all over it. I also like the over a little bit in this game as well. We saw with Cornelius last week, he finally clicked into that Edmonton offense. And this is a spot where I think he can put up some points against this Winnipeg defense, which has been one of the best defenses in the CFL, but they do give up yards. It's not like you're not going to be able to move the ball against this Winnipeg defense. They're 7th in the CFL. They give up 292 passing yards a game. They're 5th in the CFL, giving up 366 yards a game. So it's not like you're not going to get any type of offense against this Winnipeg Blue Bombers team. And I can see this as one of those games where Winnipeg goes up early and kind of takes their foot off the pedal, similar to what we saw with Montreal last week with this Edmonton team. And this Edmonton team can come in and play a good second half of football and backdoor cover this game. So I took 7.5 with the Edmonton Elks. I wouldn't talk you off of the team total over 20.5 with the Elks and the full game over 48. I think that this is going to be a good game. I think we're going to see this be closer than people expect. I think Edmonton's finally going to cover a game here at home as a decent underdog. I can see this being a touchdown type of game. So I took the 7.5 with Edmonton. I know it's tough to fade this Blue Bombers team, but this Edmonton Elks team has been much better as of late. They started off the season absolutely horrible. They've played two of their last 3 games. They played really well. So I'm looking for the Edmonton Elks to at very least maybe catch the Winnipeg Blue Bombers sleeping tonight a little bit. Looking forward to Calgary next week. So I'm going to take the dog here in this spot.
All right. Well, you're not exactly fading them, taking the plus 7.5. If you were taking Edmonton money line, that would be fading them.
I mean, that's plus 275. That's very interesting there, but no, I didn't go that far.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. We will go on to the best bet segment, and we will start with Dog of the Day, as we always do. For me, I spoiled it a little bit early, but the only dog that I'm on today, Seattle Mariners. Nick, you're going with the Chicago Cubs, and Tim is going with the Cincinnati Reds. Dave, is there a dog that you like today?
Yep, Mariners.
Some. And then we will go to over or under. And once again, I'm involved with this Seattle team. I have the team total over 3.5 here for Seattle. And so does Tim. He likes the team total over 3.5 as well. Nick, you are on St. Louis, Cincinnati, full game over 10. Dave, what do you think here for over under?
If you're on that, if Tim's on that, I know you're on it, but if Tim's on the Seattle team total over, he should be on Seattle to win the game, I think. But I wonder.
No, I think he took Seattle to win the game, but he just took something else different for Dom.
Yeah. I did. I think that game goes under. That's just me. But I am gonna go the opposite. The Cards Reds under. Seattle Cincinnati under 10.
All right.
It's perfect over weather, but after the break, and it's still to be seen whether these Cardinals can hit on the road.
For sure. Well, good luck to you both, and let the most luckiest person win. We will go on to Parlay Piece, best bets, best Parlay Pieces, and so far, me, Nick, and Tim have all chosen the Mets. This really makes me want to choose something else, but I'll stick with it here because I'm not going to choose Winnipeg money line to -313. So I will stick here with the Mets money line. If you wanted a different one, I'll give a bonus one out here. As I said earlier, Gosman over 5.5 strikeouts, or you could take Ohtani over 7.5 strikeouts as parlay pieces. But I'll stick with the Mets money line. Dave, what do you think here for parlay piece?
I'm going with the Mets too. Just kidding.
I thought you got me there.
No. As we all know, I'm not big on parlay, so I'm just going to pick another bet that I like and that I kind of stumbled on this afternoon. I didn't put it in my picks last night, but I like the Giants team total over 3.5.
Right. Giants team total over 3.5. San Francisco. And then for best bets, for me, Gosman over 6.5 strikeouts, plus 128 for 1 unit. Something new to the show for the rest of the show, for the rest of the season for baseball for sure. I'm letting people choose whether they want to put 1 or 2 units. So sometimes people will like bets more than other days. So I'm going to let them choose, and then you, the people watching, can choose to tail. Obviously at your own risk, but 1 unit, 2 unit, we'll let people choose what they like. So I'm going 1 unit with the Gosman over 6.5 strikeouts. Nick, you're taking the Mets run line. You're going 2 units on that.
Got to make back my ground somehow, right?
There you go. And then Tim is taking a 2-team parlay, the Chicago Sky in WNBA -7.5, parlayed with Baltimore money line for plus 340. And he is only putting 1 unit on that. Dave, what do you think here for best bet?
I think we should rename this the Hail Mary section. I am going to go with the most exciting game of the day, the Rangers and A's. I'm going to go with the A's money line. It's at plus 100. I got it at 105, but it's plus 100 now.
All right, 1 unit, right?
1 unit. That's another thing too. I never give advice. I don't mind people betting more units. I never get advice more than 1 unit because I like all my children the same, So I might bet it again later on right before the game, but all my bets are 1 unit.
Is Brian too scared to put in plays today? No, he did message me. He is moving, so he is currently busy. Toby, Seattle Storm, or over 160.5, averaging 165. Lock it down. There you go. And then nothing better than some Wonka bar parlays. There you go. But best of luck to everybody tonight on your bets. If you are new to the channel, thank you for watching. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. And if you're watching on YouTube, come join us. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. We'd love to have you in the live chat. The show will be on tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, and then Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So tune into those, and we will see you again tomorrow for another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. Best of luck today, guys.